up until this point, everything seems like his normal MO. And this is what he does to all of his victims that he kills. And he would say things like, "Aren't we playing fun games tonight?" to Robert Donnelly. And Robert would be like, "This is freaking scary. Like, please just kill me. Like, please just let this end." I mean, he was getting drowned and then revived, and then raped and tortured. I mean, he had just a lot of trauma to his body and mentally and emotionally. And he was begging to be killed, and he said, "I'm getting around to it." And so he was like, "Okay, like, I'm just going to get tortured for I don't know how much longer, and then I'm finally going to get killed." And then he put him into his car, and John Wayne Gacy drove Robert back to where Robert worked and just released him.
What?
And before he got out of the car, he looked at Robert and said, "If you complain to the police, just know that they won't fucking believe a word you say." And he drove away. And Robert was like, "Oh yeah, that?" And he ran to the police station and he filed a police statement. And he's like, "I was literally just tortured, assaulted, almost murdered. Like, I mean, what the fuck, right?"
Yeah.
And so then the police were like, "Okay, well, let's go get him." And they get John Wayne Gacy into the police station. And John's like, "Yeah, I know him." "Well, how do you know him?" Well, he's kind of like my sex slave." "What?" "Yeah, so I agreed to pay him to be my sex slave, and he like wanted me to do these crazy things like drown him and shit. He's a weird dude. And so I did it. And I think that he reported me to the police because I didn't pay him. I just thought I could be slick. I thought I could just
User Cadinos.
I don't know. I guess he was charging a lot. I just didn't pay him. I mean, it was consensual, but yeah, I didn't pay him.
What? Okay.
And so then the police believed him, and they did not file any charges.
Why?
I don't know. I mean, John was very charismatic. And then he had another change in his MO, which is very strange for serial killers, but I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that he was running out of space in his crawl space. That is how many victims were there. And so he changes his MO once again, and he meets a guy by the name of Jeffrey, and he's 26 years old. And he chloroforms Jeffrey this time, which is like a drug that just knocks you out. Usually in the form of a rat. That's why a lot of, people are very scared when they see some dude with like a glove on walking up to them with like a napkin or a rag in their hand. They're like, "Oh, fuck you, fuck out of here," right? And so he chloroforms Jeffrey, drives him to his house, tortures him, rapes him, and then he just drives him back to Lincoln Park, and then he just dumps him. I mean, he's unconscious, but he's very well alive. And he just dumps him. And so Jeffrey wakes up, and this was not, like, I know it sounds like, "Woo, Jeffrey's alive," but he has permanent damage to his liver to this day from the chloroform. He has severe chest and face burns from the cigars. He has rectal bleeding. He immediately staggers somehow to his girlfriend's apartment. I mean, he was strong, like survivor strong. And he goes to the police station, and he informs them of everything. And they're like, "Well, we don't know who that is. Like, who are you talking about?" Like, "Well, I don't remember. I was literally chloroformed. Like, I don't fucking remember." And this kind of is almost reminiscent of the Toy Box Killer, where he would let them go after all of these drugs because they just don't remember. So he's like, "Well, I don't remember." And he's like, "Then we don't have a crime. We don't have a criminal. Like, we can take your statement, but we don't really know how to help you."
Isn't your job to find out?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And so then he's like, "All right, fuck this shit." So him and his friends get together, and he's like, "Okay, guys, this is what I know. I remember seeing this car. It was black, and this is what it looked like. This is the make and model. And for some reason, I feel like I was on this highway, and I got off this specific exit. Like, I don't know if it's true. I just remember that. Like, am I right? I don't know." And so the friends are like, "Get in the car. Like, we're just gonna sit by that exit on that highway, and we're gonna see if that car ever passes." And so they get into the car, and they wait there for days and days and days. And finally, they see the same car, and they follow it. They follow it all the way back to the Summerdale house, where John Wayne Gacy is.
Crazy.
And so then finally, the police believe him. They issue an arrest warrant, and they arrest John Wayne Gacy.
Is that it?
Nope. He was arrested for assault. He was let out on bail. What the fork? And in 1978, like I said, he didn't have enough their bodies. And it's really intense. So I think that's why he was kind of experimenting per se with these two victims to try to see if he could release them and try to use the fear tactic. That didn't work. He ended up going to the police anyway. And so then he was like, let's use the drug tactic. That didn't work. And so he's like, I need to figure something else out. Okay, this is not working. And so he decided to just go off the Interstate 55 bridge, and there's a river there, and he would just toss victims off the bridge into the river. And so in 1978, his entire crawl space is freaking full of victims. He decides to throw 5 bodies off the bridge.
This man is so ballsy and insane.
Yeah, and only 4 of them would be found later on. Then we have a 15-year-old boy by the name of Robert. Now, Robert would be the undoing of John Wayne Gacy. Robert was 15 years old, and he was an employee at a pharmacy. And John was there to visit this pharmacy to talk about a potential remodel. So he's just trying to convince the store owner, like, let me just, pimp out your pharmacy. It's going to be so much better, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. And he sees this 15-year-old Robert, and he's intrigued. So he goes up to Robert, and he says, how much are you making at this pharmacy? And he's like, well, I'm making like this much an hour. And he's like, I can pay you double that if you come work for me. Uh-huh. He's like, double? Like double my pay? Like what am I doing? Yeah. And he's like, well, you'd be doing some like contracting work. It'd be like painting. Nothing like too crazy. And at 15 years old, you're like, double my pay? And so he's like, that's insane. And the store was closing, right? Mm-hmm. And so Robert's mom came to pick him up because Robert's 15, and she was really excited to pick him up because it was her 46th birthday. And she was ready to get home. They already had like this crazy dinner celebration planned with the entire family, and she just had to pick up Robert. And so she's like, Robert, sweetie, get in the car. And so he like gets into the car, and he's like, Mom, please don't hate me, please don't hate me. And she's like, why? What's wrong, sweetie? And she's like, okay, so this guy is offering me a job like at a contracting business. I don't really know, but anyways, do you mind if I'm like 10 minutes late to dinner? Like I'm just gonna go talk to him real quick, and then I will come back home. He said he'll drop me off. He just wants to like, talk to me, like interview me, I guess. I don't know, Mom, is that okay? And she's like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah. He knows like my boss, they're friends, like they're gonna do some business together. Anyways, he just needs employees, so I'm just gonna go. Like, do you mind? And so his mom was like, okay, Robert, yeah, just don't be too late. Be safe, okay? Like, make sure you get home. Don't be too late. And so he gets into John Wayne Gacy's car, and John drives him back to his house, where he tortures him, and he rapes him, and he murders him.
Oh my God, this guy's that ballsy.
Yeah.
Even after the mother has seen him.
Yeah, and his family, they file a police report, and they talk to the pharmacy owner, and they're like, do you know who exactly he was talking to? They said that you were friends, he's talking about a contracting business, and the pharmacy owner is like, yes, it's this person, John Wayne Gacy, he owns PDM, and the investigator who's put on this case was kind of pivotal because he also had a son who went to the same high school as Robert. So it is getting a lot more personal now. And so he does a routine check that a lot of police officers didn't do until this point, which is fucking nuts to me. And he found out that he had a battery charge in Chicago. And he also served in Iowa for sodomy of a 15-year-old boy. Robert is 15. So they say, okay, let's go to the house. So they immediately go to John Wayne Gacy's house, and he's like denying the whole thing. He's like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? And they're like, okay, well, can you come to the police station and answer some questions on it? And he's like, yes, I can, but I can't right now. And they're like, why can't you right now? And he's like, because my uncle is dead. My uncle just died. I don't know how much truth there is to this, but he says something that's so strange that they even wrote down in police statements that will later become so creepy. Because the police were like, okay, I'm sorry for your loss, but when can you come to the police station? And he goes, you guys are very rude. Don't you have any respect for the dead? Says the man with 28 bodies buried under his house. Yeah. And so the police wrote that on their statement. He comes into the police station later that night. He's like, nope, I never told him to come over. I never told him I was going to offer him a job. I mean, that's really weird. And so the police, they let him go. They can't arrest him. There's really no proof. I mean, there's no proof that anything bad happened to Robert at this point. And so they're like, okay, well, I guess you can go. And the police start working on a case. And they think that Robert is alive. They're being very optimistic. They think that Robert is being held captive because they don't know that this is a serial killer at this, nobody knows Otherwise, he'd be in jail. So they issue their first search warrant. And this first search warrant, I'm just going to list the evidence that they gathered because it's a lot. They found several fake police badges. They found guns. They found syringes and needles, handcuffs, books on homosexuality and pedophilia, capsules of amyl nitrite, which is a drug, an 18-inch dildo. That's 18 inches sticking. Or not sticking. I'm sorry. Sink in.
So, what are they going to do with all of that?
Nothing. Valium, atropine, which slows the heartbeat, several IDs belonging to several different men.
Oh.
Men's underwear that was obviously way too small to fit John Wayne Gacy. Once again, he is medically obese, and this underwear was of very, very skinny, almost teenage, like very young boys, right?
Yeah.
A high school ring from the high school that Robert went to, but it wasn't Robert because it was a different class. It was a different year of graduation, and also it had initials on it, and a nylon rope measuring 36 inches.
What does that mean? Tying someone up?
Or choking. And so then they couldn't arrest him because, yet again,